Welcome to the Field to Film podcast. Today we're joined by David Strohl, one of the newest members of the 100 Bushel Club. This exclusive group is part of the Grow for the Green Soybean Yield Challenge, a statewide competition that rewards top soybean yields, innovation, and promotes the best practices in Arkansas soybean production. Sponsored by the Arkansas Soybean Promotion Board in partnership with the Arkansas Soybean Association, the 100 Bushel Club recognizes farmers who produce at least 100 bushels per acre. And in 2024, David earned himself a spot for the very first time. David, thanks for having us out here today.
Thanks for coming out.
First off, I want to congratulate you on reaching 100 bushels this year. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you achieved that?
In the early days, it was the race to 100, I think. You know, you had the contest where you would place depending on your yield, but I've pushed to hit that 100 bushel mark for years. So it's just a fun challenge. Kind of lets you see how you can advance from year to year and look back on years past and try to decide what you can do better.
And so I know we're talking about the 100 Bushels Club, but we're obviously not in the field. So tell us a little bit about where we're at right now.
I farmed, 1,000 acres, and then also, and I've flown all my life and grown up. My dad flew and just grown up around airplanes my whole life. Own and operate Strohl Aviation here in Tollville. Also have another location in Des Arc in Cotton Plant, and that's Eagle Ag. So aerial application business and also farm. So glad to have you all inside my hangar.
Tell us a little bit more about your farming background now. How long have you been doing that?
So I grew up farming with my parents. That's just what I've done my whole life. When they retired in 2008, I took over, kept pretty much the ground that either we owned or had been in the family for years. So I'm the fourth generation on a lot of this ground that I farm.
So tell us a little bit about your farm. What all do you grow, plant?
At this point in time, for the past probably 6 years, soybeans and corn.
So you've been doing Grow for the Green for several years now.
Right.
And so this is the first time you've reached it. So what on-farm research have you been doing to help get you to where you are now?
So we pull yearly soil samples. The challenge is, I think, 5 to 7 acres. I don't do anything different on those 5 to 7 acres. I look at satellite images. Historically, I know the higher producing areas in each field, but my practices really haven't changed that much other than adjusting the planting dates and variety selection. I'll pick 3 or 4 varieties that really do well, and then I'll take and see how those varieties performed in different soil types and different areas, different planting dates. So if those varieties hold a higher yield across the board, then that's one of the varieties of soybeans I'm going to look to plant. It seems to be hardy and it'll do good in any situation.
So over the years, have you ever faced any frustrations when you're trying to reach that goal?
There's too many variables in farming. The weather, of course, trying to get in early spring or trying to get the crop out during the fall, and we have hurricanes during that time of year. There's frustrations when you look back on the yield that you made the previous year and it's below. Do what you can and move on to the next year and hope it's a better yield.
So what does achieving 100 bushels in 2024, what does that mean to you personally and professionally?
So professionally, it's always satisfying to reach a goal. That's just human nature. It makes you feel good. On a personal level, I've been striving to hit the 100 bushel for years, and my dad knew that. Dad never did the Grow for the Green challenge. But he knew I was pushing for that 100 bushel, and he would always ask, how we do on the yield, how's it going this year? And so in 2024, we finally got barely over 100 bushel, and I think he was more excited than I was, and that means a lot because I just lost Dad in May of this year, so.
Sorry to hear that.
Pretty special.
But that's awesome that you were able to meet that goal that you've been working so hard to do.
Exactly. It's a good feeling. Now, we need to push the 110 bushel mark. So it's just it's a good tool. This Grow for the Green challenge is, it takes a little time to get the judges in order and get everybody coordinated to do it. But I'm not going to lie. You look at the other guys' yields and see how they're doing. But for me, the Grow for the Green, the soybean challenge is a competition against myself. I mean, my biggest critic and competitor looks back at me from the mirror every morning. So, I use it as a tool to make myself do better for the following years, and just see how far we can push the yields.
So looking at, the competition as a whole, what would you say is the benefit to the Arkansas soybean industry?
It just pushes participants to strive to do better. Like I said, with myself, I want to beat my yield, my previous yield, every year. It doesn't always happen. The challenge is just a tool to help each one of us strive to do better.
And David, is there any other parting words of wisdom you would like to give before we wrap up here today?
Get involved in the Arkansas Soybean Association. Enter the Grow for the Green. It takes a little bit extra time during harvest, but it's a fun challenge. It just helps all of us strive to do better and make better yields.
David, thank you so much for having us out here today. Really appreciated talking with you, and can't wait to see what you do this next year.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here.